Content presented by Alan Gonsenhauser, CEO of DemandRevenue.com. June 10th was the official launch of the 5X CEO, available on Amazon. I'm excited to share why this book should be on every PE-backed CEO, CMO, and board member's reading list. Over a 2-year research effort, AdvantageCEO interviewed 53 CEOs who delivered an average exit MOIC of 6.2x and 25 private equity leaders, uncovering a repeatable 5X model that separates top performers from the rest. The authors state, having spent years advising PE sponsors and their portfolio company CEOs, I can attest that the stakes are high. A 3 to 5 year sprint to deliver at least a 3x MOIC, all while navigating market volatility, leverage constraints, and compressed timelines. Yet so many otherwise capable CEOs never make it through that cycle. Why the 5X CEO matters proven and field-tested blueprint. By examining more than 50 CEOs with an average of 11.9 years of CEO experience and an average MOIC of 6.2, AdvantageCEO distilled the 5 core responsibilities: strategic clarity, scalable talent, relentless focus, disciplined execution, and energized culture that every PE-backed leader must master to maximize enterprise value. Actionable versus theoretical, this isn't an academic exercise. Each chapter arrives with self-assessment checklists and real-world case studies, CEOs from industries as varied as software, manufacturing, and services, showing exactly how they applied these principles to engineer transformational value. PE sponsor alignment. Private equity is unforgiving. Investors expect you to accelerate revenue, margin, and multiple expansion, period. The foreword from Adam Coffey, a 3-time #1 Amazon best-selling PE CEO author, reinforces that these 5 pillars aren't abstract. They reflect precisely what PE operating partners and managing directors look for in a CEO. My perspective. Over the past 4 years, leading DemandRevenue, I've partnered with Clearlake Capital, TA Associates, and other PE firms across over a dozen portfolio companies on due diligence, interim CMO engagements, strategic marketing, and customer experience projects, and full-scale growth transformations. I have observed firsthand the difference between CEOs and CMOs who merely move EBITDA and those who becomes a true multiple mover, driving not just short-term EBITDA gains, but positioning the company with greater long-term value for a higher exit multiple. The 5X CEO framework crystallizes exactly how those top performers think, plan, and execute. What you'll learn. Strategic clarity. How to translate your PE sponsor's investment thesis and value creation plan, VCP, into a clear purpose, vision, and set of priorities so that everyone from the receptionist to the CEO knows exactly where they fit. Scalable Talent. Why A players in critical roles matter more when timelines are tight, and how to assess whether your current team can deliver on a 6x MOIC. A case study showing how one CEO learned how to identify critical roles and match them with top talent. Relentless Focus. How elite CEOs identify and stick to a handful of must-win initiatives to drive value, avoiding the trap of doing a little bit of everything. Showcases a CEO who works with her team on what needs to happen now versus later to drive strategic prioritization. Disciplined execution. The exact operating rhythm these CEOs employ. Dashboards with both leading and lagging indicators, weekly missed tackles huddles, and a formal V2MAM management system that ensures outcomes over outputs. Case study example of a software CEO who shares how they leverage the V2MAM management system. Energized Culture. Why culture isn't a nice-to-have, but the single greatest enabler of scalable value creation. Hear how one CEO connected core values to performance management via an ACE process: accountability, collaboration, empowerment. Who should read this? PE CEOs navigating carve-outs, buy and build roll-ups, or post-merger integrations. Operating partners and managing directors looking for a consistent framework to assess, coach, and hold CEOs accountable. CMOs and CROs who need to align marketing, sales, and product roadmaps to a clear value creation plan, the same one your CEO is focusing on every day. Board members who want to know exactly which questions to ask when evaluating existing leadership or recruiting a new CEO. A personal note: one of the co-authors, Samantha Allison, was a close colleague of mine at GE. I have huge respect for her as a strategic and operational leader and as a person, and I know firsthand how she approaches business challenges with rigor, empathy, and grit. When I saw how Samantha Allison and Tavo Gottfredson distilled these 5 responsibilities into tangible, executable playbooks, I knew the 5X CEO would become a must-have resource for anyone in the PE ecosystem seeking to accelerate value. Let's accelerate value creation together. Here's to transforming PE expectations into PE reality. Enjoy. For more information about Alan or to book a 15-minute strategy call, please go to DemandRevenue.com. Be the CMO they can't afford to lose.